I apologize for the delay. We will now call this September 17th, 2024 Joliet Township High School Board meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Stiff?
Present.
Mr. Kennedy?
Here.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Here.
Mrs. Lynn? Here. Mrs. Guerrero-Numer?
Here.
Dr. Huntington?
Here.
Mr. Coffey?
Here.
Please join us by standing to recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
March time, march. Right turn, march. Color guard, halt. Post. Post. Colors. Present. Arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Post. Mark time. March. Right turn. March. Forward. March.
You may be seated. Thank you. On behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to welcome all of our visitors that are here in person and that are viewing via live stream. Your presence is greatly valued, and your engagement reflects the shared commitment to the success of our community. Ms. Rico, do we have any public comments?
Not for this one.
Okay, so we'll go right into the agenda. Oh, yes. Where is it? Okay, so before we get started, our district has had some unrest, just some difficult challenges that we've been faced with. And I would like to take this opportunity to recognize our staff, to all the administrators that value our district, the students, just the safety of everyone in our school community. And that means a lot. And so this Board of Education is firmly committed to the safety of all staff and students. We are thankful for the partnership the administration and the Joliet Police Department have forged. This partnership allowed for the source of the threat to be identified prior to the start of the school day on Monday, and that the sources of the threat did not have the means to act upon the threat as it was alleged. This allowed us to communicate with families that the threat was not credible and that law enforcement felt we were safe to open our schools. Both buildings acted accordingly while being empathetic to parents, allowing for excusals of all students, whether parents felt comfortable sending their child or children to school. The district continues to work with the Joliet Police Department as any additional information is brought to our attention and are ready to respond according to the guidance of the law enforcement as to the level of threat. At this time, the schools are safe to be open. If at any time that determination changes, the district will reach out and convey that message. So I just wanted to relay that on behalf of the board, and we thank everyone for their part in keeping our district safe. It takes a village, right? And so just wanted to extend that. May I have a motion for consent agenda?
So moved.
Do we need an amendment?
Yes, I'd like to remove the, from the check register, Hopewell and Heinz Strika.
I'll second the motion with the changes.
Roll call?
Mrs. Guerrero-Numer?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington? Yes. Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
And Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Then I move to approve the rest. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Abstain?
Mrs. Guerrero-Numer?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Abstain.
We will now go to item number 6, recognition and awards. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Shad Hallahan. I have the honor of serving as principal at the Central Campus. And tonight we are proud to recognize JTHS students who earned academic honors from the College Board National Recognition Programs. These programs celebrate students' hard work in high school and showcase their strong academic performance. The academic honors recognize students who identify as one or more of the following: first generation, Black or African American, Indigenous or Native, Hispanic or Latino. This accomplishment gives these students a chance to share their strong academic achievements with colleges and scholarship programs seeking to recruit diverse talent. Also, the criteria for eligible students includes a cumulative grade point average of 3.3 or higher, and a PSAT, NMS-QT, or PSAT 10 assessment scores that are within the top 10% of assessment takers in the state, or having earned a score of 3 or higher on 2 or more AP exams while in 9th or 10th grade. So very high standards and quite an accomplishment. I'm excited to introduce the Joliet Central students who have earned this honor. When I call your name, please come up so we can congratulate you and take some pictures. We do have students who earned more than one honor in a category, so I'll read your name for each one. But please, when I call your name, come forward. So first, recipients of the College Board National Hispanic Recognition Award are Emily Diaz, April Ortiz, Natalie Pena, Yareli Ponce, Mariana Reyes, Carice Trejo, and Chelsea Zaragoza. And then College Board National First Generation Award recipients are Layla Boys, April Ortiz, Natalie Pena, Yareli Ponce, Mariana Reyes, Carice Trejo, and Chelsea Zaragoza. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
And parents, you can stand up and come forward and take pictures too.
We are very excited to recognize our scholars at Joliet West High School. In the area of National Hispanic Recognition, we have Daniel Batista, Sebastian Guajardo, Lino Gandara, Diana Uregi, Giovanni Ortega, Gianna Perez, Ali Rango, and Andrea Uzdinsky. In the area for National African American Recognition, we have Ramsey Bout, Sebastian Guajardo, Essena Ham, Nevea Lemus, Sly Nana, and Michaela Simmons. And new recognition for this year is our First Generation Award. On the list, we have Camden Breen, Lino Gandara, Quentin Guardia, Diana Arrigi, Sophia Nugan, Giovanni Ortega, Kia Patel, Gianna Perez, Ali Rango, Kaylee Rossini, Andrea Undinsky, Zachary Warren, and Emily Wodilla. Let's give it up for our awesome scholars.
We'll now take a 5-minute recess for the board to come out and congratulate you. Thank you. Thank you all for your patience. We will now go into superintendent reports.
Thank you. I don't have any legislation, but I have received, as I'm sure everybody is aware, numerous correspondence between Friday and today from concerned parents and with sharing reports and sharing concerns. And so I just wanted to make a statement because there are a lot of people to thank, and then to just share some information. I know that we're getting back to parents, but a lot of communication came in at the same time and very fast. So I just want to say that I know that this is a difficult time for everyone, and I understand that as both the school administrator as well as a parent. I first want to thank the Joliet Police Department and especially our school resource officers for everything they are doing to keep our schools, students, staff, and community safe, and who are able to determine that there was not a credible threat against our students yesterday or today. With that being said, I understand that this is a stressful and fearful situation, and we want to move forward being able to provide the highest level of peace of mind possible. We are fortunate to have 3 dedicated school resource officers for Joliet Township High School. We are also fortunate to have 45 full-time security team members. I want to thank them for all the work they do during each and every school day and at our after-school events. I want to say thank you to our staff who have helped with searches on Friday and over the past 2 days. It was no easy feat to search the number of students we have at both Joliet Central and Joliet West. I also want to explain that while JTHS has had metal detectors for a long time, the evolved weapon detectors are new to us. In fact, they arrived right before school started, and we had our first general overview 2 days before school started. These are more complicated systems, and we had planned to begin using the systems in phases this semester with full implementation in January. With our current metal detectors, you must search all bags to do a full search of weapons. That takes approximately 3 hours per school, and that's with the help of district administrators. That is why we wanted to be proactive and purchase the evolved technology. Little to no schools in this area have this type of technology. Therefore, I want to thank our building and district administrators for meeting and planning nonstop over the weekend to develop the best plan possible for each day and to be able to implement the weapon detector technology tomorrow with all students. I know that this will not go without issues, but I truly appreciate everyone coming in early and staying late to make this happen. Thank you to our office staff for fielding phone calls. Thank you to our communications staff for being available 24/7 to create and deliver timely communication. Thank you to our teachers and our paraprofessionals for their patience with the disruptions to the educational environment and their flexibility and care with our students. Thank you to our related and support staff for being available to provide the extra support some students need in this scary and chaotic situation. Thank you to our bus drivers for continuing to transport our students safely to school. Thank you to our students, parents, and community who have been reporting concerns to our school and to law enforcement. Thank you to our Board of Education for always putting the safety of our students and staff as the top priority for JTHS. Again, my sincerest thanks to everyone for the work they are doing to keep our students and staff safe. It doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you. And we do not have any presentations tonight. I know that's a unique evening, but we do have the breakfast after the bell public hearing. Yep. May I have a motion to open the hearing being held for Joliet Central and Pathways campus to opt out of the breakfast after the bell mandate?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call. Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Namir?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Hi, good evening.
Your mic's not on, Brian.
Let's try that again. Good evening. I'm Brian Shaw. I'm the Director of Support Services for Joliet Township High School, and I am here tonight to talk briefly about the breakfast after the bell mandate and our recommendation to opt out for the 24-25 school year. We have a full breakfast program in place. The breakfast after the bell mandate is an addition to our full breakfast program we already offer. So just a little history, PA 990850 requires school districts to provide breakfast after the bell in public schools in which at least 70% of the students were eligible for free or reduced price meals the previous October. Breakfast after the bell means breakfast must be provided to students after the instructional day has begun. Schools can decide the best method to provide meals after the start of the instructional day. Some of the suggestions out there included serving breakfast in classrooms, using grab-and-go carts, or creating an extended passing period after first or second period so students can purchase meals in the cafeteria. Schools are allowed to opt out of the mandate for specific reasons, such as the cost to run the program is financially prohibitive. Joliet West is exempt from the mandate since the number of free and reduced eligible students was below 70% based on the ISBE 2024 report. Joliet Central and Pathways are required to provide breakfast after the bell or to opt out. And I am here tonight to recommend the district opt out for the following reasons. The cost analysis indicates the state and federal reimbursements will not fully cover the cost of implementing and operating a breakfast after the bell program. Joliet Township High School currently offers a full breakfast program at Central, West, and Pathways, consisting of several entree choices each day. Breakfast is served at Central from 6:30 a.m. to 8:15 a.m., and Pathways from 8 to 8:15 and 9 to 9:15. JTHS served on average 968 breakfast meals daily during the 23-24 school year, which was an increase of over 200 breakfasts per day over the previous school year. I shared the reimbursement rates for the 24-25 school year in the board packet. They would not cover the added cost associated with distributing breakfast meals outside the established location and hours that we already have in place. Implementing a breakfast after the bell mandate would require the following additional expenses. We would need to purchase refrigerated coolers and kiosk carts to distribute meals with milk, employ additional staff to prepare bagged meals, stock the carts, and deliver the meals to every classroom, or to man the kiosk carts stationed around the building. Additional custodian resources during the day to empty classroom garbage cans so food and spoiled milk don't begin to stink or attract pests. Purchase wireless laptop computers or scanners to run the food service point-of-sale software for each cart. Mobile serving carts and kiosks with food pan carriers for milk, iPad, or a laptop, an ID scanner, and point-of-sale software on the low end would be about $4,500 a cart. And we would need approximately 16 to 18 of those carts spread out across Central and West based on the short time frame we would have to distribute meals and the square footage of our buildings. Serving meals and allowing students to eat in classroom would be disruptive. Time would have to be allotted to throw away garbage and clean up individual areas. Extra time would be needed for spills and other cleanups beyond the normal classroom activities. Serving meals in PE classes would interfere with the class. Instructional time is already lost to allow students to change into the required PE uniforms at the beginning and at the end of class. Serving meals from kiosks in specific locations would cause long lines during a 5-minute passing period. The hallways are already tight in certain areas around both campuses. The kiosks will require additional kitchen staff to distribute the breakfast and security during the serving time to issue late passes to students who were waiting for food. Adding extra time between second and third period, which is 9:15 to 9:20 a.m., so every student can purchase a meal in the cafeteria or at a kiosk in the hallway would affect the overall daily class schedule. Each class period would need to be shortened or the school day longer. This would also require additional security for student supervision during extended passing periods, since students not participating in breakfast would have nothing to do. JTHS also begins serving lunch at 10:15 a.m., which is only 60 minutes after the passing period between periods 2 and 3. Due to the circumstances and constraints specific to JTHS and our large campuses and student bodies, coupled with the implementation and maintenance costs of operating the Breakfast After the Bell program, I recommend the school district opt out of the mandate. To opt out, the school district must do the following: submit a cost analysis to the district's Board of Education indicating that the reimbursement rates will not fully cover the cost of implementing and operating the program. The District Board of Education must hold a public hearing and must post the date, time, and place and subject matter of the meeting, which we are doing this evening. If the District Board of Education passes a resolution that it is cost prohibitive to operate a Breakfast After the Bell program, the district submits the board resolution approving the Breakfast After the Bell exemption to the ISBE.
Are there any questions or comments?
I just have one. If kids hungry and they come into school and they need to eat, are we providing them food? That's it.
Yes, we have another question from the floor. You may come up.
I can just do it from here.
Okay.
I had the same concern that she did. If our children, if there's kids coming in late, I know with my own daughter, she goes to West, that she's already been told that it's a no-go. And they only get there like it's maybe 20 after 7, and I was I was just trying to figure out what's going on. That's all.
Yeah, we don't shut down the lines or do any, so I can check on that.
She's told me that when they get there like 20 after, she can't hear anything, so I didn't know.
Do they report anywhere specific after a certain time?
They come in the same door.
They would just go straight to the cafeteria?
We can get information after.
Yeah. We'll have someone follow up with you.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm just concerned.
McCaskey, yeah, no.
A lot of different questions for a lot of different, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Burrow, the mayor?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Hearing is closed.
Thank you. The only other report is the 10-day report, count report, which is an annual report. We're happy to answer any questions. It's within your board packet.
None? Okay. We'll now move to action items. A memorandum of understanding between Joliet Township High School and Joliet Township government. This is a counseling program to students up to 4 hours for individual and group. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Questions, comments?
I just want to make sure that there's, student records are being protected and
Yes.
there's consent forms for service.
Yes,
Yep.
and this is a continued partnership.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burrow, the mayor?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington? Yes. Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Action item B, memorandum of understanding between Joliet Township High School and Give Something Back.
I'll make a
This is-
motion. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
This is a program offered to students for workplace readiness and engagement with local businesses. May I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Questions, comments?
This is also a continued partnership.
And I just want to say thank you to this organization because they also provided a summer scholarship for some of our students who worked internally with our help desk.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown O'Meara?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Action item C, memorandum of understanding between Joliet Township High School and ThriveWorks. This is a continuation of mental health services to the Joliet community. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
This is the program that's open to all Joliet
It is.
students, even though it's Joliet, right, Steve Joliet, but anybody can.
So ours covers the rest of the footprint of the district that is not covered by the city of Joliet.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown O'Meara?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Action item D, memorandum of understanding between Joliet Township High School and Bella Recovery. This is a drug recovery program for students. May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Questions, comments?
This is a new partnership. We're continuing to look for outside partners that can help us in this area. And so we're excited about this opportunity.
And I appreciate the administration finding this, that this has been funded by 2 grants, so it's coming at no cost to our district as well.
Fantastic.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown O'Meara?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stipp?
Yes. Action item E, agreement with Joliet Township High School and IASB on an administrative procedural manual for compliance. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Is this just to update your APs for current
It
policies?
is. So there was a presentation. This is a new pilot program through the Illinois Association of School Boards. As the board knows, we subscribe to press and we get their updates. This is the same focus on administrative procedures.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown O'Meara?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Action item F, agreement between Joliet Township High School and Southern Will County Cooperative for Special Ed. This is to provide them lunch. May I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Just glad we do it.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Coffey? Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown O'Meara?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Action item G, request for disposal. These are old damaged 3D printers. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stipp?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown O'Meara?
Yes.
Action item H, Joliet West High School chiller replacement. This is a replacement for air conditioning. May I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Yes, this is a recommendation to replace the chiller in the E-wing at Joliet West High School. The original chiller was installed in 2002, and as the board is aware, we had some issues with this chiller at the start of the school year. It was on cycle to be replaced. This is the recommendation to move forward with purchasing the equipment. The lead time is about 5 to 6 months. So we wanted to get ahead so that come spring, we have the equipment. Our goal is to have the infrastructure in place, so when we do receive the equipment, we can install and be ready by the early part of spring.
Okay, thank you.
Who's doing the work?
We don't know who's doing the work until we bid it out,
Okay.
so we do have to go through that process. We hope to have that recommendation at our November board meeting. So this is just to purchase the equipment. And this is through a purchasing co-op. So these items are already bid through the state bidding purchase co-op.
Oh, okay. Any idea what kind of chiller it is?
Yeah, it's, I have to look on here. It's part of it here. It's on the document. Let me get to it. It's an air-cooled scroll chiller, tags CH1. It's refrigerant 454B. And they're modulars that will replace the old one. So we're going to replace it in the same area, but
Right.
these will be more efficient.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Guerrero-Numer?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stiff?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Action item I, approval of the 2024-2025 budget. May I have a motion?
So moved?
Second?
No, that's fine.
Questions, comments?
Yes, this is the final budget presented to the board. The final surplus is $15,355,550. We have finalized all state funding, federal funding, revenues and expenditures associated with the education fund, operation and maintenance fund, bond fund, tort fund, and site and construction.
Do you get the assumptions? Because I noticed there were some assumptions that, like, some of the collectibles were significantly larger. Does that come from the county, or?
Say that again?
The assumptions, so some of the assumptions on revenue coming in. I'm looking specifically at new construction.
Yeah, so some of the assumptions are, so like new construction, that is information we receive from the county. That will be, I'll be presenting that information in November for the levy, the next levy year. So all of those assumptions that's presented to the board throughout the year are part of this budget process. You're welcome.
Thanks to Atlantis. Again, 13th year of no student fee increases.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Numer?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stiff?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Action item J, resolution providing for the issue of not to exceed $22,500,000 general obligation limited tax refunding school bonds, Series 2024, for the purpose of refunding certain outstanding bonds of the district, providing for the levy of a direct annual tax to pay the principal and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Questions, comments?
Yes, this recommendation essentially are the documents associated with the bond presentation from last month, where we have the opportunity to, we call it refunding, technical terms for these type of bonds, but it's similar to like if you were to refinance your home. So this is an opportunity to refund some bonds and have a savings of about $1.65 million in interest.
My question is, if we are to approve this, is there a not to exceed clause in there on the interest rate? I know we were talking, the Fed's meeting tomorrow, so
Yeah.
anything could happen, but
Yeah.
anything could happen in November too. So,
Yeah.
is there a not to exceed clause, or are we not completely obligated if we approve this, if rates pop?
Well, yeah, so if rates go up, we'll definitely reconvene and determine if it's going to be an advantage to us or not. In fact, we're holding off on final pricing to market until after the feds meet to determine where that would be. You know, some people say they're going to cut rates again. We'll see. But that'll be an advantage to us, right? So we want to wait to see what the feds do there. We're anticipating that they're going to cut. We don't think they're going to go up. But if they do go up, then we'll reconvene and determine if this will be an advantage, and I can share that with the board. If we decide not to sell the bonds, then I'll share that information with the board also.
So it's not fully obligating
No.
us to actually make the sale happen?
Correct. This is just more the parameters that allow us to go to market if we need to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Numer?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stiff?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Action item K, professional staff, Joliet Internal University Credit Recommendation. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Questions, comments?
Can I just ask Mrs. McDonald to explain this? Because it was interesting to me. I didn't really know. It's contractual language, so I think it'd be helpful to the public to know what that is.
Sure, so currently we have an agreement when a classroom teacher takes on a student teacher. So to show appreciation and all the time and energy, but mostly time, to mentor a student teacher, we provide our cooperating teachers, our teachers, to JIU, so our Joliet internal credits, and those count up to the lanes that are in the contract. So if I were to host a student teacher for the first time, I would be given 2 JIU credits, and after every other time, I get 1. And what we did not have in place is that when our counselors or social workers would host an intern, especially with our partnership with Lewis University with the Jolie program, we did not have anything in place for them to host interns. So now we're adding that language to there. So we'd like the board to consider this, and then if approved, we would actually be retro to last year, because this was a conversation that we started last school year.
Teachers can move, or I should say, our individuals in our bargaining unit can move across lanes for graduate hours. This is our version contractually of an internal graduate hour, or hours.
Do you have to do a memo of understanding with the union because you're changing the language of the contract?
We talked about this with the union, and then it goes to the board. JIU credit is actually already in our contract, so once it's board approved, then we can offer that. Any new JIU credit that has not been offered before, we would have to come to the board.
Okay. Yeah, I just was curious, just because if it says specifically teachers and you're adding social workers and counselors, I was just curious.
Yep, well, everybody, they're all part of the teachers union.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Numer?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stiff?
Yes. Action item L, approval of XELL ahead job description. May I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Questions, comments?
I have a question. I know that this is about a job description, but I'm assuming that is it a new teacher position, or is it like an extended pay?
Extended pay.
Okay.
So and this is similar to what we currently have in place for our Gateway 1.0 program, but this coincides with our Subject.com contract that the board approved to support our EL newcomer students in a credit recovery model.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Stiff?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Numer?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Action item M, fiscal year 24 administrator and teacher salary benefit report. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Questions, comments?
Yes, actually, the next two recommendations are required by a state code, which first one, Administrator and Teacher Salary Benefit Report, and the second one is Public Act 970609. The Administrator and Teacher Salary Benefit Report is our salaries and benefits from last school year that's posted. The Public Act 970609, our non-certified staff who makes over $75,000 or more, and that's for this school year. And we have to post those on the district's website.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stiff?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn? Mrs. Guerrero Namir?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Action item N, Public Act 97-0609, report. So you heard Dr. Hampton. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stiff?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero Namir?
Yes.
All right, action item O, 1 through 13. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Wait, what?
Second.
Oh,
1 through 14?
it's 1 through 14.
Oh,
Should we motion to move?
Yeah, just motion. Who made the motion?
I did.
Just make the motion to update to 14.
I'll make the motion to update 1 through 14.
There you go.
I second.
All right. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Guerrero Namir?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
I just have a question or a comment. I struggle with the volunteer coaching. I know that people want to not maybe take a full-time position, but it's a lot of work. And I would like to see a task force or something to take a look at that and see if it's really something that should continue or if we should pay our teachers and staff for coaching. It's a lot of work. Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stiff?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
As someone who volunteered coached in this district, I can hear what you're saying, but yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
All right. Item 9, do we have any unfinished business?
No. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
I do have a question. We had a report about the solar.
Yes.
Okay. And so I was thinking about that, and I'm wondering where we're at with that.
Yes, currently working with the company Future Green and our attorneys. We're just going back and forth with the contract language. Hopefully, we'll have that ironed out for October's board meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, but we are moving forward.
Yeah,
with
it
bringing
sounded
the recommendation
fantastic.
forward.
I'm like,
Yes.
let's go, I want to vote. Yeah,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other unfinished business? All right, any new business? Oh,
I'm sorry. So I wanted to talk about board members on committees, right? So I'm really disappointed that the parent-teacher committee is being scheduled on a Thursday, and so I have a conflict with that. So I'm hoping to appeal to you guys to have somebody from the board sit on that committee. It's time well spent. I learned a lot, but I can't do Thursdays. And then I'd like to have an opportunity to see what other committees are out there. And if they're on a Tuesday, I think I can do it. So just throwing that out there.
all right. So we have first reading of updated board policies, 1 through 5.
Yes, I also provided the summary to the board. There's not the long list that you're used to seeing, but this is first read. We would bring them back next time for action. There was a suggestion to ensure under the policy for procedure that we ensure that there's a female and a male for complaint managers at each location, and we can make that change, and then I can bring the updated policy to the board. Also, one of the changes, and I explained this too, the non-discrimination officer can serve as a complaint manager. So we're going to include, because Ms. Herrera Ford is female, on those as well for each site as another option. So, it'll make the policy a little longer, but it'll satisfy the discussion we had and the question.
Okay. Item 11, board reports. Angela, speaking to the committees, I think I forwarded you a list that came through. Did you see that in your email? Didn't we get a list of some committees?
I'd have to go back and look.
We had a couple invitations. I was just going back
Yeah.
to look to see if I could
Yeah.
find them. Because I know there was one that I wanted to join also.
Yeah, yep, okay, so,
If I can't locate that, can you resend
yeah, I'll resend it. Any board reports?
Oh, I went to Golden Black Night, the first week school had started, and watched the girls flag football team.
Nice.
It was a really cool event, and it was a way to get kids excited and get them ready to, participate in the games and things like that. And I've gone to a couple of football games. Everything is very well managed, and, the kids are having fun. And it's just a good atmosphere to be in, and just something fun for the kids to do also. So thank you for everyone that is doing that.
I just want to say, went to Fiesta en el Bicentennial this year instead of La Calle. And LEDA, which is the Latino Economic Development Association, is the one that hosts that. And I just want to say, it was founded by, and it is run by almost all Joliet Township High School graduates. And that's pretty awesome, and it was a really great time. And for some reason, usually it goes very late. Everybody was like done by 10 o'clock. It was kind of crazy as a volunteer there. Anyway, next month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And again, we do amazing programming here. We have Guardian Angel as one of our community partners, and they do groups, they do individual, and they just wanted me to share also, October 5th is the Angel Against Abuse Walk. That'll be this year at Lewis University. It's pretty cool. And then October 24th will be Will County Take Back the Night. And it's always humbling and just a reminder that domestic violence can happen to anyone, anywhere. And reading some names every year of students that came here, their parents, et cetera. So if anybody has time to go to those events. And also the JRTC programs at the high schools did phenomenal jobs at open house when anybody got lost. Of course, I only got lost once or twice, so it was great. So good job to them again. Thank you.
Any others? Okay. I can't see. Put my glasses on. Okay. So lastly, we'll go to our announcements and public comment. Ms. Rigo, do we have any public comments?
We do, yes.
Are you ready for me to call
Yep.
them? Okay. Delicia Cartwright?
All right, so before you get started, I would just like to say that at this time, you may make your comments to the Board of Education and any item concerning the district. This is an opportunity, this is not the opportunity or the venue for us to respond, but we respect and value your voice. And so you must conclude your minutes in three minutes, your comments in 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. Hello all, and thank you for this opportunity. As you've heard, my name is Delisa Cartwright. My husband and I are alumni of Joliet Central High School. And for the past 6 years, I've been a homeschool mom. I've homeschooled 3 of my children, and 2 years ago, we decided to send our 14-year-old to Joliet West. My worry was violence. Seeing headlines as well as news clips, I was afraid. But I was told by several people, those who have had graduates from Joliet West, as well as those who worked for Joliet West, that if he takes the right opportunities and keep busy, he will be fine. My son has been a part of the football team, the cross-country team, the golf camps in the summer. He's been on the track team. He serves on the student council. He is a part of speech, and he also won Homecoming Prince the first year he was in school after being homeschooled. He is in AP classes and is doing exceptional. Although he has joined many things and kept busy, he has still been impacted by witnessing multiple fights that seem to be out of control. Anytime I talk to staff or faculty, I am told that this is high school and this is just the way that it is, or as long as he stays out of it, he should be fine. But this should never be okay. We are writing the history of this generation, and enough is enough. As for the current state of events, I often hear that the safety of our children is our #1 priority. First and foremost, thank you all. Honestly, thank every single one of you for everything that you have done this past week. I do understand that this is a difficult time navigating a situation as such. It is unexpected and it is very scary from all aspects. We were asked not to post or reshare on social media. I did that. We were asked not to come to the school at the time of the secure lock and holds. I did that. We were encouraged to send our students back to school on Monday and told that all students, not some, but all students would be searched to ensure the safety of our children. We believed that. We sent our child back to school on Monday. We were sent text messages, emails, social media reminders to ease the stress of parents that, again, all students would be searched at Joliet West. We followed all of the requests, all of them. On Monday, September 16, the parking lot was extremely empty. Class sizes as small as 1 student in the class. As my son was in line getting searched, the search was called off. And out loud, it was said, "No more. We are done." And everyone else was told to go back to class. My question, and I know that you guys are not able to answer it today, but something to think about is why? How could we let even 1 student pass through not getting searched, putting everyone in that building at risk? If our school was exhausted to complete the smallest search of students, I'm sure, that school has ever seen, how could parents trust that they will do what is expected with a large crowd? I am very excited about the new technology. However, we cannot skim on procedures, especially for safety. Imagine being a student in an AP class like my son, and on Monday morning, you had to decide safety or your education because you did not want to miss out on an assignment in your AP class. What was the reasoning behind needing to have these students in class if we could not do our job as adults and search every student as these students were told? We cannot give up. Every student deserves confirmation that everything possible was done and will be done for their safety. We are failing our students. We can fix that. I'm not sure what the issue is, if it's a funding issue, a staffing issue, they just want it to be done. Whatever it is, just remember, we cannot fail our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, someone will follow up with you. You're welcome. Okay. May I have a motion for?
Have any more?
Do we have any more?
No, that was it. Yep.
Yeah. All right. May I have a motion for adjournment, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mrs. Stiff?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Guerrero-Namera?
Yes.
Dr. Huntington?
Yes.
Good night.
Thank you.